You're standing inside a dimly lit Georgetown brownstone tonight. The air smells like expensive scotch and heavy secrets. You just signed a $5,000 personal check. It is not a donation for a noble cause. This is a down payment on a future favor. The Beltway insiders are carefully watching your next move. The deal is simple. You learn the rules of the city quickly. The law says you are strictly limited, $3,300 per election cycle. That is the Federal Election Commission cap for individuals. It feels like a large sum to a teacher. It is mere pocket change to a titan. You want more than a simple handshake today? You want an ear that truly listens to you. You want the gears of the system to move. But one check only buys a staged photo. One check buys a generic form letter response. You realize you need a much bigger hammer. You need to become what they call a bundler. This is where the real political game starts. You are not just one person anymore tonight. You are a primary collector of many different voices. You are a human funnel for massive cash flows. It is perfectly legal and very highly efficient. It is the golden key to Washington, D.C. You spend your entire week in the office. You make 42 phone calls before your lunch. Your colleagues already know this secret drill by now. They write personal checks directly to the candidate. They hand the white envelopes silently to you. You feel the physical weight of the thick paper. Each envelope represents over 3,000 cold dollars. You stack them inside a dark leather folder. 50 envelopes sit quietly on your mahogany desk. That is over $150,000. This is not your money in the folder, but it is certainly your personal power now. You are the one carrying the heavy folder. You are the one delivering the political payload. The candidate's staff calls you back immediately now. They do not send you to voicemail anymore. They know your name on the caller ID. You are no longer just a small donor. You have become a primary stakeholder in power. Your first meeting isn't about policy. It happens in a dark back booth tonight. The bar is cramped and smells of gin. It is located 3 blocks from the Capitol. The congressman arrives 20 minutes late and tired. He doesn't ask about your views on health. He doesn't ask about the local school boards. He asks about the folder in your hand. You slide it across the sticky wood surface. He does not open it right away tonight. He knows the math is perfectly correct already. He gives you 15 minutes of his life. That is $10,000 per single minute. You realize time is the only currency here. The clock is ticking loudly in his head. You talk about the new technology regulation. He nods and takes a very slow sip. He promises nothing, but he remembers every word. You are now inside the machine's warm heart. The FEC paperwork is a mountain of red. You hire a compliance lawyer for 10 grand. Every name on those 50 checks is tracked. You must prove there was no workplace coercion. You must prove the funds are entirely clean. The machine demands a perfect paper trail always. You learn the secret language of PACs now. You see how the money moves in circles. It goes from the donor to the PAC. It goes from the PAC to the party. It goes from the party to the airwaves. You are the spark that starts the engine. You watch the television ads late at night. You see the mudslinging and the bright lights. You know you paid for those 30 seconds. Your colleagues ask if the law will change. You tell them to be patient and wait. You tell them the seeds are planted. One morning, you check the news in D.C. A small amendment is tucked into a bill. It is 2 sentences about your specific industry. It is exactly what you discussed in the bar. The congressman kept his word without saying it. The system worked because you followed the manual. You feel a rush of pure adrenaline now. You realize you just changed the world's rules. It only cost 50 envelopes and a folder. You are ready for the next rank now. Access has a very specific price list. The small checks feel too light for you. You want to see the real architects work. You want to see the revolving door spin. You just paid the entry fee in full. The machine is finally starting to recognize you. You leave the dark bars behind you today. You move into a corner office on K Street. The sun hits the glass at a sharp angle. You are an access broker in this city now. This is the heart of the American machine. The revolving door never stops spinning in this town. It is a seamless transition for the political elite. One day they write the rules for everyone else. The next day, they help corporations bypass every rule. More than 50% of former members do this. They do not retire to a quiet country farm. They retire to a very lucrative board seat instead. They trade their public service for private gold bars. You are the one who signs their checks now. Do you see how the machine turns today? You need a specialist for the new energy bill. You find a man named Marcus in the city. He is 38 and wears very expensive tailored suits. He was the lead staffer for the Energy Committee. He spent 12 years in the cold marble halls. He knows every comma in the current legal code. But you didn't hire him for his law degree. You hired him for his personal cell phone contacts. It contains the private numbers of the whole committee. These are numbers that never appear on government websites. These are the lines that the public never hears ringing. Marcus does not talk about the public good anymore. He talks about strategic leverage and perfect timing now. He knows which congressman needs a campaign cash boost. He knows who is currently angry at the speaker. You sit across from Marcus in your quiet office. He opens his laptop and smiles at you today. He shows you a spreadsheet of his old friends. Each name represents a vote you can easily influence. This is how the real game is played here. You are not arguing about the environment at all. You are arguing about a specific carbon tax credit. You are the bridge between raw money and law. You tell Marcus to make the very first call. He picks up the phone and says hello. He uses a nickname only a true friend knows. The barrier between the lobby and the office vanishes. The secretary picks up on the very second ring. Why would they ever say no to Marcus now? The Access has a new price list today. You go to a hearing on Capitol Hill. You sit in the front row with Marcus tonight. The cameras are focused on the main political stage. The politicians are performing for the national news crews. But the real work happened an hour ago today. It happened in the hallway behind the heavy door. Marcus shook a hand and whispered a name quietly. He secured a private meeting for your primary client. You realize that you are not just buying votes. You are buying the most expensive thing, time. A minute of silence is worth millions of dollars. A delay in a vote is worth billions today. You control the calendar of the most powerful people. What is a favor worth to you now? You watch the congressman look at your front row. He gives a small nod to Marcus, right now. It is a signal that only you truly understand. The dialogue in the room is a scripted theater. The real conversation is happening in the silence tonight. It is written in the campaign donation reports later. It is coded in the luxury dinner invites tonight. You feel a surge of pure intellectual superiority now. The protesters outside are screaming at the stone walls. They think the system is broken and failing them. You know the system is working perfectly well today. It is designed to be a very high-priced toll. You are the one who collects the money. Marcus takes you to a private club tonight. The room is filled with former cabinet members now. They are all working for different global interests today. This is the shadow government of the capital city. It is a network of favors and ties. You see a former senator laughing with the CEO. They are discussing a bill that has not started. They are drafting the future over expensive stakes tonight. The revolving door is the fuel of Washington, D.C. It ensures the machine always has expert mechanics inside. You are not a guest in this room anymore. You are a permanent member of the crew now. You have moved past the simple donation game. You look at the stack of invoices today. You charge $10,000 for a phone call. Your clients pay it without a single question asked. They know the value of a direct phone line. You are the ghost in the legislative machine. You are the shadow behind the silver pen tonight. But you realize something as the long night ends. Marcus is just a broker of other people's power. He is the middleman who facilitates the dark deal. You want to be the one who writes. You want to move beyond the phone calls today. You want to be the architect of the code. You leave the crowded lobbyist bars behind today. You move into a silent glass tower office. You have reached the highest rank of influence. You are the architect of the code now. No more chasing senators for a quick handshake. No more begging for a short phone call. You are the one who provides the substance. You sit in a room with white walls. Your laptop is the most powerful tool here. You are not reading the law tonight anymore. You are the one who is writing it. This is the ultimate level of the machine. The public thinks Congress writes every single word. The reality is much quieter and more efficient. You are the shadow author of the nation. Your client needs a very specific tax loophole. It is worth exactly $4 billion today. You do not write an emotional letter now. You write cold and dense legal technicalities instead. You use words like notwithstanding in specific subparagraph. You create a complex maze of legal logic. You ensure only your client can find the exit. This is what insiders call model legislation today. You are drafting the future of an entire industry. You are crafting a weapon out of black ink. The screen glows in the dark office tonight. You are constructing a multi-billion-dollar legal reality. You are the source of the code now. The congressman never sees the draft first. You understand how the states really function now. Hundreds of bills are copy-pasted every single year. They move from your digital screen to theirs. Over 90% of the text is yours. The Legislative Council is far too busy today. They have 10 massive bills to review tonight. They see your professional formatting and clean lines. They trust the architect to provide the structure. The representative is just a delivery vehicle tonight. You're the real author of the law. The ink doesn't come from the elected officials. It comes from the quiet offices on the Hill. You are hacking the legal system with every sentence. You meet the senator in a side room. He looks exhausted and very distracted by polls. He has a flight to catch in an hour. You hand him the 3-page technical amendment. You tell him it is for local infrastructure. He doesn't flip to the second page tonight. He doesn't look for the $4 billion trap. He doesn't even read the title of the bill. He smiles and hands it to a young aide. He trusts the machine to work for him. He is the face of the operation today. You are the brains inside the skull tonight. The deal was done before he even arrived. He didn't even read the title. 6 months pass in a blur of noise. A 2,000-page omnibus bill is released. It is a massive wall of legal paper. No single human has read every single word. Most representatives will vote on it tomorrow morning. They don't have time to check the details. You skip to page 1,400. There it is in black and white ink. Your $4 billion exception is perfectly intact. It was copy-pasted directly from your personal laptop. Not a single comma has been changed today. You have successfully modified the federal government's budget. The earmarks are hidden deep inside the text. You have won the game of absolute influence. This is how the real law is born. It is not born in a public debate. It is not born in a town hall. It is born in a quiet glass office. It is written by those who pay well. It is signed by those who fear failure. You watch the news report on the bill. The anchor talks about the broad economic impact. They have no idea about page 1400. They don't know your name or your firm. You are a ghost with a digital pen. You are the architect of the entire code. The world changes because you typed a sentence. You are the engine of the entire system. The machine prefers efficiency over any democratic oversight. It is easier to outsource the difficult thinking. The lobbyists provide the money and the text. The politicians provide the legitimacy and the vote. It is a perfect circle of silent cooperation. You realize that you are the engine now. Without your draft, the bill would be empty. Without your ink, the rules would not exist. You have mastered the every level of influence. You are no longer a player of the game. You are the one who wrote the rules. The machine is now part of your identity. The annual bill is settled now. Over $4 billion spent tonight. That is the price of power. It is the cost of access. The machine devours the gold quietly. It never stops for the truth. The ink is always fresh here.